Welcome, Marcus. So good to see you.
You too, man.
How's your summer been starring in a summer blockbuster?
Oh, there's nothing like summer in the city, they say. It's been great, man. Like to be to even just hear you say it is like it hits different every single time. And I've never been someone who particularly liked living in New York or visiting New York. I've never lived here full time before this. So this is a wonderful way to come into the city. All my friends are here who've always been here on their Broadway show, just waiting for me to come and join them. So it's like the perfect time. It's been the perfect summer.
Well, where are you most comfortable then, if it's not New York City?
Oh, deep in the country.
Okay, yeah. But where'd you grow
Yeah,
up?
yeah. I'm from Maryland. I'm from the Eastern Shore originally, Salisbury, Berlin, Wycomico County, Worcester County. And I moved to PG County, like closer towards the city, maybe like middle school-ish. So I'm way more country boy than anything.
So when did you find this performance side of yourself? Was it like in The Wiz, in high
Yeah,
school? Was
yeah,
it The
that's
Wiz?
exactly what it was. Okay, research. Yeah,
Tell me about The Wiz.
my first show was The Wiz. Well, my first show was in like third grade, but I just kind of stumbled into it. It was like an announcement after school programming, and they said The Wiz, and I was like, oh, I know Michael Jackson. Like I love Michael Jackson. So I just kind of went to the interest meeting and auditioned, and I ended up in the ensemble. And there were very few guys in drama club back then. And I was just dancing with my friends after school every day, and I fell in love with it. And then I tried to stop. I tried to quit several times. I wanted to play basketball. I wanted to be on the step team. I wanted to do all types of different clubs and extracurriculars. And I just kept falling back into it, kind of by mistake, honestly.
So would that kid be surprised, that kid who was in the tornado, would he be surprised that you're Hamilton on Broadway, or he'd be like, that makes sense?
That makes sense. Because those same friends, oh my goodness, the entire drama club, my entire community, my church community, everyone at my high school, like by junior year when we did Dreamgirls, that's when I really had the nickname Broadway. And it was always less a nickname and more a manifestation. And it was always like we speak those things that are not as if they were, and we make it come to, and then we go do the work and find it. And so we knew, like we literally knew that each of us would be doing exactly what we're doing right now. Not a surprise at all. And then Hamilton wasn't out back then, and I wasn't even really chasing uh, any one particular show. I didn't even know a lot about Broadway. I
Right.
knew The Wiz, I knew Dreamgirls, I knew the Black repertoire for sure. But I knew that I wanted to perform and dance on stages everywhere, and I knew what I was good at, which was that athleticism, rap, poetry, storytelling, clowning. I even got good at in college or in high school. So when Hamilton came out, then it made even more sense because this is how we speak all the time.
Right, and I know I've heard you say that hip hop is your love language. That's your love language. So this is sort of like just the perfect, morphing of everything,
I
right?
didn't have to search for it at all. By the time I went on my first tour, 2015, 16, that's when Hamilton came out. And I was like, oh, that's obviously the one that I want to be doing. Just
What
because
tour
it was
was
the only
that?
one that sounded, like me. Mamma Mia was the
Oh,
first
that's a
one.
Mamma Mia tour, right? You were in the ensemble, Mamma Mia. Cool. And you also were in Rent on tour, so you've done a bunch of tours. And then, so Hamilton, let's talk about Hamilton. So I think you got into Hamilton like 2019,
Yep.
pre-pandemic.
Yep.
So like that big, lifeline, that big block. We all think
Yeah,
of
I
that
had
as like the defining
10 months
before or
and then the
after
pandemic happened.
10 months.
And we were in Toronto when it happened, and I was stuck there. Not stuck, I kind of chose to stay for like 3 months.
Wow.
So I had like almost a full year of Hamilton life, and then a post-pandemic Hamilton life, which is a whole other thing on tour. A whole other thing on tour.
So how did you first get Hamilton? Was it endless auditions?
Oh my goodness. That part, I guess, isn't published enough, but I auditioned for Hamilton. I love saying this. I auditioned for Hamilton 15 times between when it first came out, and the Chicago company was the first one I auditioned
Right.
for. And then the first tour, second tour, Puerto Rico. Anytime a new cast was popping up, I was either sending in a video or once I got further into like my training, I guess, flying in. So I had just been going in nonstop, no pun intended. And then sometimes they'll like disappear for a bit and come back, like see if you want to come in again or see where you are availability wise. And I got an avail check like, hey, just wanted to see if you were in New York. And I hadn't heard from casting in like a year,
Wow.
maybe. Usually it's like a couple months to a year. So I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm in, I think it was Nebraska at the moment. I think I had just landed in Nebraska, and I just kind of answered honestly, like, yeah, thanks for checking. What y'all want to know? And like, oh, we just thought you might be in New York. We're going to ask you to come in. I said, just kidding. I'm in New York. I don't know why I said that. I would love to come in. And so that's how the last one happened. And I flew to New York after endless attempts and videos. But I had been in a bunch at that point. I had kind of gotten to know the guys behind the table, and But that's how 2019 came.
I don't know how they do it, and I don't know how you audition that many times for something and to keep getting told no. And then finally, it happens, and obviously, you were the right person to be a part of this show because now you're playing Hamilton on Broadway, or were you not the right person in the beginning? Did you sort of grow along with the process? How do you look at all that?
I was auditioning for many, many things. Like in college, I didn't care if I got told no. It was just about free dance class or a chance to share my art with you. And like, I go to New York. If I don't get it, I go back to class. It's not that deep. So I got used to being told no. And I don't really take them as losses. I take them as lessons. Like every time you learn something different and then you go do it again. So I never really struggled because I was doing so many things that when something did hit, it was like, oh, now I have a job. And the things that I were booking were suited towards me. So I never felt like I was reaching or trying too hard for Mamma Mia. I showed up to a hip hop dance call. I'd never seen the movie actually. I didn't know much about it. And they played a Bruno Mars song and I was like, work, I love this song. And so we danced down and we got a job afterwards, you know? I wasn't like seeking the Broadway thing. I was just doing what I like to do. So when it came to Hamilton, same situation. Like after a couple of times, I started to feel like, oh, maybe I'm not the right one. Maybe they want this version like David, or maybe they want this person who's taller or who sings better. But I had to like stop thinking that. That was like around number 10 to 14, you know. I was like, I hate Hamilton. I never want to listen to it again because they don't like me. And I keep trying and I don't think they want me. Like I can't rap any better, any different. I don't know how else to take the notes. It's just, I'm just not what they want. And that's okay. So then the last time when it came around, I had to like get out of that funk, remember who you are, you know, and just do what I do. I didn't change much. I took the notes. I still have the notes from those original auditions, and the ones from when I like auditioned to add Hamilton coverage later on. And I just applied them as best I could and showed them my version because at the end of the day, it's different from everyone else who's already played it, all the swings and covers who also played it. Maybe this time it'll be the right fit, but that's up to them. I think everything happens when it's supposed to, similar to being the lead now. Like, there was a time when I didn't want to lead. I love being a swing and being able to do multiple parts because Jefferson is my boy. I think it's so much fun. And Mulligan too. It's not about good, bad, or right, wrong. Like, God's timing is perfect.
So you were covering all these roles on the tour, and then they added Hamilton into the mix of things you covered. Tell me about the first night you went on as Hamilton. Wasn't that a crazy performance?
Oh, it was everything. As soon as I debuted my last of my swing tracks, I sent an email like the next day, like, and now I'm ready to audition for Hamilton. I don't know why I wasn't on my coverage in the first place. But like, I also understood there was much I had to do and grow. Like after all those auditions, I wanted to be good at it. I wanted to show them that I could be good at it. So anyway, I audition, I get the Ham coverage, and it just so happens that in the timing of the tour, they just rehearse you, you know, during the show if you're not on. In the timing of when it made sense to start rehearsing me, my debut landed in DC at the Kennedy Center. And I'm from Maryland, so it's right there. And I grew up on the Eastern Shore, but by middle school, high school, when people started calling me Broadway, that was PG County. All of PG County came to the Kennedy Center. There were like maybe 150 tickets of people, and my entrance applause was like maybe like 7 seconds long. It was crazy. It was crazy. And I had just purchased my home in 2021. And so I was living at home and commuting to DC and like going to Ravens games after the show on Sunday. I was living my best life. It was insane. And it was beautiful. Like my family from the Eastern Shore came up. A lot of people from my high school came. And it felt like a huge celebration of, I had accomplished it in 2019. Like we had done the thing, but it felt like a celebration of like all the things we had always said. Like I said, we always knew, but getting to see it come alive, that was crazy.
So you do the tour, you're still doing the tour. Did you always, obviously the dream is to do it on Broadway, to play this role on Broadway, but it wasn't your dream, or to talk about that?
I used to say Broadway was the manifestation because at that age we learned of a thing and we saw these videos and these images and that's where it happened. But really my goal was just to be able to dance on stages across the world. I wanted to do Super Bowls. I want to do backstage or background for Usher. I wanted to do that type of thing that I grew up watching on the BET Awards and on the MTV Awards, you know? So Broadway was just like a place. And then it became my nickname because I was doing musical theater, but I was still seeking and am still seeking like every other outlet of dance and storytelling. And so once I got into Hamilton, that was enough for me because I was seeing the world still, or the country before it became the world. I was kind of in a better situation in terms of like not having to live in New York rent, New York taxes, New York lifestyle, which I just wasn't used to. Like I had only done country living, college in Philly, and then tour. So I was like, let's keep on traveling. It's the same show. And I don't see any more value in like being on Broadway the same way I don't see any more value in not being the lead. And someone's like, oh, one day you'll get the part. It's like, or tomorrow I'll play a different part, and then tomorrow I'll play a different part, and you're gonna like all of them, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun. So no, Broadway wasn't like the thing. I used to say all the time, this has to be in a journal somewhere, that I would do Hamilton for free in the parking lot of Walmart for lunch, like just make sure I'm fed, because I love the music and I love this version of a thing, and I hadn't done a show since Dreamgirls that made me feel like everything I am and everything I've done, not work for, but just who I've been in my career as an artist is now present in this piece that someone else wrote.
Your love language.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would do Hamilton anywhere. And now that I got it, my friends ask me all the time, like, so what's it like? Like, have your Broadway dreams come true? I'm like, bro, my Broadway dreams came true at the Kennedy Center where my community got to celebrate. My Broadway dreams came true in the Philippines when they embraced us like if we were Beyonce. Like, you know, this show has taken me places that I never imagined, and it's allowed me to share things with other people who really, really love the thing even more than I do when I'm ready to put it down and go back to like watching the game. So that's the dream. And getting to do it on Broadway, like that's the duty. Now it's just my turn to do it in representation for that community and for those people who don't get to do this. But those people who do the same thing I do, as well as, if not better than me, I just happen to be Broadway, and they happen to be Hollywood or social media or rap star. And Broadway just so happened to put me in front of you, you know?
I'm going to call you the accidental Broadway star.
I like that. That's poetic. I like that. But again, it's not an accident because I was 15 and it wasn't a nickname. It was always like, oh, that's where you're going. To which I'm like, cool, and where else?
I just love that you came here. It seems like you came here in the exact right way.
Yeah.
In the exact right role, and you get to be yourself.
Yeah, man. It's a blessing, because what I never wanted to do was just come and like live out the hustle. Like, I'm going to go to New York and be on Broadway, even if I have to work 15 jobs and sleep in a 5-bedroom that's really a 2-bedroom. And people like glamorize that New York hustle and bustle. And I love giving this man credit. Forrest McClendon once said in my freshman year of college, he said, the train goes both ways. And the only reason I wanted to win that Tony was so that I could have regional doors open to me everywhere. So then I can create everywhere and do shows that don't happen on Broadway, or that I wrote, or just that I haven't seen in a while, you know, smaller plays. So yeah, Broadway was always the manifestation and the goal. But once I started studying it and learned what a Tony Award was in college, as much as I was chasing that because it's a representation of greatness, I was also really just chasing the chance to do what I want to do at all times and in all places. And if I could do that every day, then all those kids who were doing The Wiz would be so satisfied. That's all we want to do.
That's incredible. Everyone needs to see Hamilton.
Yeah, please.
Still the blockbuster,
So much
now
fun,
and forever. Thank you so much for coming in. It was so nice to meet you, man.
Of
I
course.
appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy.